to our Tribal ISP Workshop series. I'm Carl Patterson, Director of Marketing and Sales with Native Network, and I'm thrilled to have Valerie Fast Horse here with us today. Valerie is the IT Director at the Coeur d'Alene Tribe in Plummer, Idaho, and she has been a key leader in the development and the operations of their tribal internet service provider, Red Spectrum Communications. Valerie, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Yes, start with a introduction. Could you tell us a bit about yourself, your role in the Coeur d'Alene Tribe's ISP? We'd love to hear about the community that you serve, the services that you are offering, and the vision for the future.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hello, everyone. As Carl stated, my name is Valerie Fast Horse. I'm the IT Director for the Coeur d'Alene Tribe. I've held this position since 1999. As telling Carl earlier, that was Prince's favorite year. Such a long time ago. Yeah, so in the beginning, there was dial-up. And that was, the reservation was confined to dial-up. The local exchange carrier, the telephone company, GTE at that time, had promised to upgrade their network and bring ISDN to the reservation, and they didn't deliver. They couldn't do that. I remember going to the store and buying a 56K modem, installing it in my computer, thinking I was going to be like the cool kid on the block. And I couldn't even get 56K. The infrastructure was so bad. I don't think they've upgraded it since they installed it over 50 years ago. So the opportunity presented itself, really. We didn't set out to be an ISP. We became one by necessity. They say necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
And that is very true. So the USDA RUS program had a Community Connect grant opportunity in the early 2000s. I want to say it was 2002 is when they did the notice of funding opportunity. And I've never written a grant before, but I applied for the grant and had assistance with the network engineer to design a network, and we designed a wireless network, put that in the grant, put everything in the grant that we thought we would do and that was necessary to run an ISP. The Network Operations Center, the Community Technology Center, the wireless towers, the servers, DHCP, every kind of server under the sun that you would need, DNS, anything you need to run an ISP. So we wrapped that all up, put a bow on it, sent it to DC, crossed our fingers, and we got the grant.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what community that you serve, is it on reservation to tribal members? Are you off reservation at all? Elaborate more on that.
So we serve the entire Coeur d'Alene reservation. Anyone, tribal member or not, anyone who's here needs broadband. The reservation's about 345,000 acres, but as you know, the wireless doesn't stick within boundaries, and so the spectrum spills up at the reservation borders. So we serve off-reservation people too. We serve people in Washington State, towns that border the reservation, all the towns and communities on the reservation. We have 3 main towns and scattered bay communities, and then people who live back in the woods and in the mountains. We have people all over the place. There's over 3,000 homes, maybe 4,000 homes on the reservation. And we can provide service to a lot of them through either fiber or wireless. We started off as a wireless ISP. A decade later, wireless wasn't cutting it anymore for that many customers. And so we had to add fiber to the mix. And so now we have a wireless fiber hybrid network.
Wonderful. So you mentioned one of the probably the big key factor in the motivation was the incumbents over-promising and under-delivering. Was there any other challenges or needs that made the decision to start an ISP?
Just the challenges of, again, the local exchange carrier not doing it. No one else was, and our population is so sparse and scattered that, I don't think it makes financial sense for anyone else to come in and do it. And that's why they haven't. We did it, again, just because it was necessary. And, we wanted to align our own technology needs with our own priorities. And so if we want to focus in on low income or focus in on senior citizens or students or whatever. We can align our own priorities however we want, because we steer the ship. If it had been any outsiders, we would be under whatever their priorities are.
Yeah. So forming an ISP requires lots of careful planning and resources. You mentioned that you went off some grant money for funding. What other resource planning or vendor partnerships or things like that did you use during the formation process?
There's actually a lot of partnerships with interior departments of the Coeur d'Alene tribe. I didn't do this by myself. I had some help, a lot of help. And again, I had a network engineer that had not worked for the tribe yet, but he built the very first ISP in Idaho. And so I was lucky to get him on board to help me with planning and designing the system design. And then we built a new facility. So I had the tribe's facilities department. They donated their time to build my building, and I paid for the materials. Basically is how that worked. And then there was just a bunch of other different partnerships. The grant writing department didn't know anything about technology, so he didn't know how to write this kind of grant, but he helped guide me on what to put in a grant. The finance department helping me put together budgeting and forecasting and determining, is this something that we can or should do, and making the financial decision first and foremost.